Greetings, fellow humans. Welcome to the Chapter 7 prep video. When I started the exercises in Chapter 7, I realized my kit was a mess. Everything was still crammed in a little box that I received it in, and I couldn't find anything. And when I tried to push everything back in the box, I had to really cram it in there, so I feel like I'm going to break something if I don't clean up my act. So I bought a new organizer. I've kind of got a handle now on how to identify the different types of fixed resistors that aren't labeled in the kit and how to keep them organized once I start taking them out and using them. So I'm going to share my tips with you. This will be a short video. If you're experienced with the kind of bits and pieces we use for these builds, just skip on to the next video. But if you're new like me, you probably want to watch this one. So before I can start any of the builds in this chapter, I've got to revisit this whole color coding scheme with the fixed resistors. So the book makes it sound really easy to read these color bands off and decode it to figure out what the resistance is. But in practice, when you're a novice like me, you'll take a look at this, and because those bands are so close together, I can't tell if I'm supposed to read from left to right this way, or if I'm holding the resistor upside down, I'm supposed to read it from left to right this way. And if you, I'm going to use the app to decode it, but if you punch in these color bands in the wrong order, you'll get completely wrong value, and it's not off by a little. I mean, it's off by a ton. So what I'm going to do is for each unlabeled pack, pull out the multimeter, and I'm going to use my alligator clips to clip onto one from each unlabeled package. And take a measurement. So the reading I'm getting from this is 100 ohms. So now I'm going to take my app and see if I can figure out how to read this to get a match for 100. So it looks like this is brown, black, 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 brown. So I'll punch in brown, black, 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 brown. Oh, and that's actually a match. 100 ohms, plus or minus 1% tolerance. So that one's good. I got that on the first try. Oh, actually it would be the same in either direction, so haha, I'm not as smart as I thought I was. All right, that was an easy one. So as I do each one, I'm going to label it so I do not have to do this again every single time. But as I start using these and pulling them off the tape, and they're going to be loose in the kit, I'm probably going to have to get faster at reading these things. 100 ohm. And I've got another unlabeled one here. This one is not going to be the same if I read it in either direction, so let's try this guy out and then double check again with the app. So clip it on the other side. I'm getting a reading of 100,000, 100K. So I'm reading the color as that brown? I think it's brown, black, black, orange. Brown, black, black, orange, and then a red band at the end. Yeah, that matches. 100K plus or minus 2% tolerance. So, good to verify these. I'm going to label them. I'm not going to make you guys sit through this with me. I will finish up and then we can move on. Before I start into my first real builds, I want to take a look at how I've got my parts organized. And this is the box that my beginner kit came in. And pretty much everything that I got with it is crammed back in here right now. I like this box, and it was great for shipping, and everything came in good condition, but if I need individual things for any given build, everything's really crammed in there, and it's pretty hard to keep it organized, especially once I start taking the cables out of here, and once I start unpacking the resistors and all these other bits. It's going to become a mess, and every time I do unpackage things, I have to push a little harder to cram them all in, and eventually I'm going to end up breaking something important. So I went to my local Canadian Tire and bought an organizer, and it was pretty affordable, 15 bucks. I got myself the Stanley Sortmaster. It's a lot easier to get access to all the parts now. I didn't even realize that I had this. I think I missed it when I first received my kit. It's a little joystick. I'm really looking forward to seeing what I can do with this thing. So the fixed resistors are going to need to be organized in my kit. While they're still stuck to the paper, they're not so bad to deal with, but once you start taking them off and they get a little bent up when you're sticking them into the breadboard, you end up with a whole pile of these. So to keep that organized, I picked these up from a local art supply store, and they're just mini Ziploc bags. And here they are, all their own bags. Nice and tidy.